Good evening. Today is Wednesday, June 5th, and this is the Hendrick Hudson Board of Education meeting. Can we all please stand for the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've got a great crowd here tonight, but before we get into the agenda and into our recognition piece, we need to begin with our public hearing on the pilot agreement for the Indian Point Energy Center. So at this time, if there's anybody here to speak on that topic, now is your opportunity. We just have to give it a few minutes.
So while we're waiting, if we do have any public comment, I will not try to make any bad jokes, but I will try to explain a little bit about the pilot. So the payment in lieu of taxes that this public hearing is being held on is the agreement between Westchester County School District and a few other municipalities such as the fire department, Buchanan Fire Department, and Holtec with respect to the payment in lieu of taxes, so instead of taxes, that they will enter into the district for the next 5 years. And it was negotiated with the town, the county, and the school district, and the town negotiated on our behalf. And we worked this out over the period of the past couple of months, and we do have to have a public hearing in case there's any input upon that agreement.
Thank you. If there's nobody here for the public hearing, we'll keep moving with our agenda. Okay, so first I do need a motion to approve the agenda. Motion to approve. Second. All in favor? Great. All right, now it's time for our recognition, and I will turn it over to Mr. Trombley to introduce our Eagle Scouts.
Thank you, President Bernard. Best part of every meeting I say, and it's coming to that time in our school year where we reflect upon some of the successes and the achievements of our students and our staff and our community. We also wish many members well in the next phases of their journey. What we have tonight, we're joined by some very impressive youth leaders of our community. We are going to recognize Eagle Scouts from Troop 36 in Montrose and Troop 49 of Ossining, and they've engaged in some pretty impressive and impactful service projects that have impacted not only the community, but also the district. All of the students that we will honor tonight have given substantial contributions to the school district, and they're going to speak on some of those, but just give you highlights of some of the work that they've done. A rebuild of the Sunset Field baseball bullpen, the creation of a footbridge on the Buchanan Verplank 7 trails trailhead, life-size chess pieces in the Furnace Woods Garden. There was a construction of a 16-post story walk at the Hendrick Hudson Library. One of our Eagle Scouts built and installed custom new instrument storage closets for our high school band. And we also had an individual renovate and reorganize the Lion Club's medical device storage set. So projects that give back to our community, that give back to our school. We're very thankful and appreciative of these works, and also the opportunity that our Eagle Scouts had to engage in service to the community as well. We want to wish actually, Mr. P is here tonight. I did have it on my agenda that he might not be able to be joining us, but we are joined by Scoutmaster Mr. P, as well as Mr. Nick Cannon, who is the Troop 36 committee chair. And I'd like to ask both of you to come to the podium and introduce some of our student leaders.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nick Cannon. I'm Montrose Troop 36 and Troop 5036 committee chair. And as mentioned before, this is Mr. P, our Scoutmaster, and we're also joined by members of Ossining Troop 49 as well. So thank you to all the Scouts for being here, and thank you for making the time for us. Being an Eagle Scout is the highest achievement in the Boy Scouts of America program. It is a prestigious rank that represents a significant level of dedication, skill, leadership, and service. To earn the Eagle Scout rank, Scout must fulfill a set of rigorous requirements, including earning a specified number of merit badges, demonstrating leadership in their troop, and completing a substantial service project that benefits the community. The following Scouts over the last 4 years have fulfilled these requirements and chose the following projects to give back to their school and community. So first we have Mr. Tony Mills, His project was improvements to the Blue Mountain Middle School cross-country trail safety improvements he made. So I'm gonna ask Tony to come up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Mills. Before I get to my speech, I just want to take a moment to recognize someone who's been a huge help with all of our Eagle Scout projects at the school. Anthony Merlini has always been there for us, offering his time and advice, which has made a big difference in all our projects. Anthony, your guidance has been super valuable. Personally, your suggestions helped shape my project in a big way, and I know many others feel the same. We're really thankful for all the support you've given us. We wanted to show our appreciation with the certificate. Thanks a lot, Anthony. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you.
After my Eagle Scout project, I focused on the cross-country trail, as he mentioned. During my time as a cross-country runner at Blue Mountain Middle School, I noticed areas along the home course that could be enhanced for the safety and benefit of both students and teachers who frequently utilized the trail. This realization prompted me to devise a comprehensive plan aimed at improving trail safety, which involved tasks such as clearing rocks and boulders and installing informative signs. One particularly challenging obstacle was a sizable rock that obstructed the trail. To address this, I orchestrated a meticulous plan that involved utilizing a come-along, which alongside teamwork and chains to safely remove the obstruction. Through collaborative efforts of scouts, leaders, family, and friends, we successfully executed these safety enhancements. The impact of my initiative became evident through the feedback provided by Coach Spier. Notably, there were no reported injuries or accidents throughout the year, and overall, race times saw a significant improvement, a testament to the effectiveness of the safety measures implemented.
Next up, we have Michael Tucci.
All right, I'm Michael Tucci, and my Eagle Scout project was the bullpen fence at Sunset Park. I played baseball a lot growing up and was a part of the high school team, and I noticed that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in our home field. So I devised a plan to take down the current and install a new fence. We began by removing the old chicken wire and most of the old wood that made up the current bullpen fence, and after everything was gone, we installed new wooden posts, which were mainly donated by Danes Lumber, and we secured the ends with cement. A fencing company then donated a bunch of their time to help install a new chain link fence, and after that we put wood posts along the top and across the bottom, and scouts and leaders helped staple them to the wood, and yeah, that was the project.
Next, we have Mr. Anthony Campi.
Hello, my name is Anthony Ciampi. For my project, I built a bridge at BV and also marked and made trails, 7 trails in the woods, and marked trees, shrubs, and other types of stuff around there.
Ryan Lee is up next.
Hello, my name is Ryan Lee. I'm one of the Eagle Scouts from 49 and class of 23. And my Eagle Scout project was the polo bench that's currently sitting outside the cafeteria. The reason why I wanted to build that is because I'm very involved with the track team here when I was still in high school, and I saw that the storage for like all the pole vault equipment was, very like poor in my opinion. So I wanted to build a bench that acted as a storage unit and as someplace to sit during the track meets by the pole vault mats. So basically, it was like a 2-month process. So I got a bunch of donations from Danes Lumber. So that was really helpful, and I was able to, craft the skeleton of the bench. It was 16 feet long, so basically my dad and I were like stressing about how we were going to build this thing because we had no other reference for how to do this. So we were sort of coming up with this stuff on the spot. And so, we got it to work, and so after that we put on the plywood and we painted it, and now it's acting as a bench, and I think now they still use it, which is great. So a bunch of the poles are in there, and a lot of those pole vault kids are happy because they don't have to walk like all the way to the shed to go get their poles. So it's good. So real quick, since I'm one of the few 49 Eagle Scouts here, I just want to give a huge shout out to, of course, my parents for supporting me during this project, some of the school staff here, so Mr. Baker, and especially Mr. Merlini. They were great help in sponsoring this project. And then some of the Scoutmasters that I worked with, so Ms. Irving, Mr. Smith, Mr. McLaughlin, Mr. Heimel, those are Scoutmasters from my troop. I just want to give them a huge thanks, so thank you.
Next, we have Andy McNamara.
Hello, my name is Andrew McNamee, and I'm currently a junior here at Hendrick Hudson High School. For my Eagle Scout project, I renovated the band instrument closets that we have in the basement. The reason I chose this project was because I've been in band ever since I was in 4th grade. I played the trumpet since then, loved it, and I wanted to give back to the music program that has given me many opportunities and honestly just like a great time over the years with all the various performances that we've done, especially with our Music in the Park performance we just had. And to complete this project, I had to do a couple of things. I had to fundraise money from various sources. I did a car wash in September, and I have many donations, including Danes Lumber, which helped a lot with lumber and different stuff like that. I demolished the existing closets down below to have a fresh new design, which would easily accommodate all of the various instruments that we have, from tubas, trombones, to those small little clarinets and oboes. And I built and transported the new existing closets that are down there off-site, which we built at a contractor's workshop. And the new school closets are in our colors, white and blue, and which, as I said, better accommodate the layout and gives it a much more like school pride and a much easier and much organized environment. And I want a quick shout out to Keith Quinn, who was the main contractor who helped us build these. He put a lot of time and effort into this project, and I thank him a lot for it. And I'm also grateful for Mr. Akrish, Ms. Collins, and Mr. Giovanazzi for all their support in my project from the start to the end. Thank you.
So we also have a couple of other scouts who couldn't be here tonight, whose projects we also would like to recognize as well. Aiden Wong did a full life-size chess set, which was built in the garden at the Furnacewood School. Thomas Barry built for the Hen Hunt High School a shed for the track and field equipment to store it. Peter Barry built a 2-story structure used to teach elementary school students to climb out a burning building through a window safely using a safety fire ladder. And Liam Hagan, who also could not be here tonight, renovated and organized the Lions Club medical device storage shed. Those were some other projects that our local scouts helped out with.
Tony, Michael, Ryan, and Anthony come back up. We have some certificates of recognition to present. While they're transitioning up, a little known fact that I like to share about the Eagle Scout, earning the Eagle Scout. It is valued as such a demonstration of an individual's leadership that the United States military actually brings you in if you have an Eagle Scout at 2 ranks higher than you would come in just coming as in a civilian. So that's a recognition from an organization that places an emphasis on leadership. So well done, gentlemen. Thank you for your service to the community and to the school. And Tony, we have a certificate for you.
You come up here.
Thank you. Michael? Thank you. And then Andy. This way first, and then we'll go that way. Yeah, we're gonna about face.
All right, get together.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well done. So we have a wonderful meeting if you'd like to join us for the rest of it. Now we can take a breath and have anybody who has to go home and study or support those students in studying, we can excuse you now. So, but thank you for joining us, folks.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Tim. Bye.
Oh, here.
I thought you were saying like congratulations or something. Yeah. Oh, they do this every year, so they're technically, so they're always
And there he goes. Couldn't figure it. Dude, that's one of the classic.
All right. Excellent. Okay, we're moving on to our consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they'd like to pull from the consent agenda? Jeremy, is there something you want to?
What's that? I'm good.
I have to have fun. I've got 2 meetings left. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. All right, we have 2 donations this evening. Let's see which one's up first. High school.
Richard Elf.
Got it, okay. So the Hendrick Hudson High School is the recipient of the following donation for specific graduation awards. We have the Richard Albert Scholarship for $2,500, and we have the Marcia Bailey Scholarship for $2.14. Can I have, oh wait, sorry, we have one more. Did I miss? The $2.14? Yes.
Sure.
Maybe you-
So the Marcia Bailey Scholarship was a scholarship of, I believe, $300 at its inception. The purpose behind the $2.14 amount is to replenish it up to the $300 and then drain it down into one chunk. Going to a worthy student.
Yes. She was just here.
And she just left.
She worked with a lot of the kids on that project.
All right, next donation is The Hendrick Hudson School District has received a donation of $2,550 for the Sports Fest program from the Mary Durstein McCarter Reynolds Memorial Giving Fund. So this is the excellent event that's coming up, yeah, for the young students to try out various sports. Can I have a motion to approve the donations?
A motion to approve the donations.
Second. All in favor? Okay.
Thank you to our donors.
Yes. All right, the next section of our agenda, I'm going to turn over, actually the next two sections, the introduction as well as the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Bernard. So in the consent agenda, you may have noticed that we approved a resolution to appoint Ms. Jill Figuerella as our interim assistant superintendent for business. Ms. Figuerella will join us as Mr. Catalan begins his retirement on June 28th after many faithful years of service. Ms. Figuerella will join us and oversee all aspects of our business office, transportation, facilities, and food service. Her experience and leadership capacity will truly be an asset to our district. She will be retiring as the Director of Business Administration from Putnam Valley Central School District at the end of June. And she has 32 years of experience in the business office and holds certification as a New York State School District building leader. She spent the first 23 years of her career with boots on the ground working alongside the District Assistant Superintendent for Business as the lead senior accountant within the business office and immersed herself in all aspects of the business operations. In 2014, Ms. Figuerella was appointed to the full responsibility of the school business official. And during her time in Putnam Valley, she had developed and successfully managed 8 school budgets, decided in a collaborative manner with the community, ensuring fiscal responsibility and sustainable spending plans. She holds a master's degree from Pace University in school business leadership, and her knowledge of long-term budget planning, accounting, capital planning, business operations, and food service operations will truly continue to guide our district in a positive direction. At this time, I'd like to welcome Ms. Figuerella and ask her to come to the podium to introduce herself to the community.
Good evening, everybody. So first, I just want to say thank you to your superintendent, Mike Trombley, and the Board of Education for welcoming me into your school community. You know, while I spent most of my time in Putnam Valley, I feel that my experience speaks for itself. So I have a clear understanding, you know, and I'm confident that the critical role that I'll be in, I can represent well. I hope to attain your trust and confidence, and as well as the community's trust and confidence going forward. And I thank you for the appointment.
You have a token of appreciation as a new sailor that we'd like to present you with. So, I'd like to... You can open it here. So I'm very bad, if you haven't figured this out, I'm very bad at gift wrapping. So I go to boxes, and boxes look smaller on Amazon than they actually appear. So in there is a portrait. So there's an anchor for our newest.
I will be your new anchor.
Thank you.
The oversized one, yes. That will be a head hug tradition. Additionally, I'm also pleased to announce and introduce Dr. Stephen Garcia as our new Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources and Leadership Development. Dr. Garcia joins us with a distinguished background in educational leadership and a proven track record of fostering transformative relationships within school communities. Throughout his career, Dr. Garcia has demonstrated an unwavering dedication to enhancing the educational experiences of both students and educators. I am confident that his experience and expertise will significantly contribute to our collective objective of providing outstanding educational experience for all students within our district. Prior to his appointment here at Hendrick Hudson, Dr. Garcia served in the Pelham Public School District as the Executive Director of Human Resources and Leadership, a role he assumed in July of 2022. He previously held the position of Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Personnel at Pelham for 9 years. And over his 30-year career, he served in numerous roles in education, a high school social studies teacher. We all know best administrators are former social studies teachers. Assistant principal at Byram Hills High School, supervisor of secondary social studies in the Harrison Central School District, and principal at Valhalla Middle School. He successfully defended his doctoral dissertation in 2009 at Teachers College Columbia University titled Teacher Perceptions and the Use of Internet in the Classroom, a Descriptive Case Study. Several of Dr. Garcia's opinion pieces on education have been published in the New York Times, the Brookings Review, and Education Week. He's also written for Technology and Learning, Principal Magazine, ASCD Express, Teachers College Record, and the New York State EdTech Innovators Newsletter, and contributed to the Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES World Language Regional Conference Program. In 2017, he received the Lower Hudson Regional Information Center's Transforming Education Through Leadership and Learning Award, the TEL Award, for an outstanding innovative leadership. In 2018, the National Network for Early Language Learning honored Dr. Garcia with the NEL Award for Outstanding Support of Early Second Language Learning. He participated in the Institute for Educational Leadership's Education Policy Fellowship Program. During the summer of 2020, he was invited to participate in the New York State Education Department Reopening of School Regional Task Force meeting, and he is currently an adjunct professor at Iona University School of Education. Dr. Garcia has also served on the New York Institute of Technology Education Advisory Committee and was a board member of the Chappaqua Schools Foundation and a member of the first Newcastle Council on Race and Equity. He's an honorary life member of the New York State Congress of Parents and Teachers, a branch of the National PTA. And most importantly to him, I know he is father to Isabella and Alex and husband to his wife, Angela, who could not join us because they're at a barbecue this evening, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Garcia joins us with a distinguished background in educational leadership and a proven track record of fostering positive relationships. And I'm very pleased to invite Dr. Garcia to the podium to say a few words and introduce himself to the Hendrick Hudson community.
Thank you, Michael. I just want to thank the Board of Education and Mr. Trombley, and of course the entire Hendrick Hudson Schools community for this opportunity. When I hear back all those things that have gone on in my career over the past 30 years, it's kind of strange to hear. But I think that type of experience is really what I hope to bring to the table during the team here in Hendrick Hudson. And obviously I've been an educator for 30 years, but as Mr. Trombley said, you know, my experience as a parent, first and foremost, has really given me a different perspective on teaching and learning and what goes on in schools. So I hope to bring that to the table as well. So I am learning about Hendrick Hudson School District. I've done a little research, I've driven around a little bit, met with some people. Claire Food Services, we met each other, but we also recognized that we worked together in Byram Hills. So back in 2003. So it's good to see some familiar faces here. So when I was looking and learning about Hendrick Hudson, one thing you always go through is the website, look at the mission statement. You think, oh, that's just kind of like a canned set of remarks. I don't believe that. From what I've learned about Hendrick Hudson so far, it's steeped in values about tradition, history, a respect for the community, and I think a desire for continuous improvement. That makes this environment very attractive for me. When I look at the mission statement, Hendrick Hudson School District is a dynamic, innovative, and supportive educational community. And I think that also resonates with me as well. Part of that mission and part of the work I'll be doing in the school district, I think, is asking the question about how do we ensure students are engaged, they're passionate learners who achieve the maximal potential and contribute to society. That's part of your mission statement, and that's the lens I'm going to use when I learn more about your school district community. One thing I just want to finally say is that when I think about the role that I've had as an educator, like I said, as a principal, as a teacher, I always go back to the fact that I'm a teacher first, right? That is in my DNA. And the words that I learned a number of years ago about the impact that we have on children as adults, and you could be the teacher, you could be the parent, you could be the assistant superintendent, you could be a principal, it doesn't really matter. It's important that when you work with children, you speak with children, and you have relationships with children, you have a moral obligation to work to see the best in them. And the kids will see themselves in what is reflected in your eyes. Those words resonate obviously with me, but when I work with adults, that's what I'm going to be holding them, I think, the expectation of. How do you relate with children? How are you treating them? How are you speaking to them? I think that is our moral obligation in schools. So again, I'm looking forward to joining you on July 1st, and thank you so much. So, and anchor means you're kind of stuck. I hope that we're moving. Right?
Yes, okay. yes. It's a nautical theme. Oh, thank you so much. It's a smaller box, similar. Yeah, feel free to open it.
I appreciate it.
So welcome to another sailor.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. We'll hoist anchor. How's that? Still me.
Still you?
Yes, so I will keep my remarks brief because I spoke enough earlier introducing two of our new sailors, and I'm very pleased to welcome them aboard and help continue to move the district forward and build upon all of the good work that's already existing here. I did want to highlight a few fantastic instance of students not only recognizing a seminal event in our nation's history, but also in true Hendrick Hudson fashion, giving back to the community. Tomorrow, members of Hendrick Hudson High School, namely our music ensembles, will visit the Montrose VA to help commemorate the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings. So thank you to Hendrick Hudson High School Principal Ms. Lauren Scollins, Director of Transportation Ms. Liz Gillio, and our high school music department for supporting our partners Sherry Wall and Victoria Pango at the VA. And I think, as we know, I think they say by the next D-Day celebration that an American president will attend over in Normandy, and I had the opportunity to visit Normandy and felt a powerful connection there. We're losing a lot of our D-Day veterans at such a rate that they anticipate we will not have any by the 85th anniversary left to commemorate that. So that is something to reflect upon. So I thank our students and the staff members who are supporting them and helping some of the surviving D-Day veterans who are at the Montrose VA commemorate that day. As we know, Hendrick Hudson values lifelong learning. This week, our administrators will live out that shared value as they receive training on the incident command system. That is a standardized approach to command, control, and coordination of emergency response, which provides a common hierarchy within those responders, in which those responders from within our school district and outside our school district can respond in an effective manner to an emergency. This training will continue to support our leaders in creating safe and secure teaching and learning environments. That is all I have for an update. There are no outstanding questions from the community from our last board meeting, and at this time, as always, I will remind my kids who are watching to go to bed, please, and listen to your mother. And with the board's permission, I would like to if Steve and Jill are more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting, but you are also free to go join your family this evening.
Sounds kind of nice.
Boring report.
I hate to tell you this, but it's still you.
Still me. Oh, excellent. So as Greg is pulling up, we have for this evening's presentation and discussion, the administration will be providing an update to the board and the community on progress towards district goals. Just 1 second to transition here. So as I was getting to learn the Hendrick Hudson School District, I know I've said this a couple times, but as I was going through the interview process, I took time to go all the way back to September 2023 and listen to every board meeting. One of the early board meetings last year, we listened to the board adopt both the board goals and district goals. This evening, we will provide an update on the administration and district's progress towards meeting the district goals. So we start everything as we do with our mission. And the objectives of the presentation are simple: to describe our progress towards the goal this year, and also discuss how we might anticipate setting goals for next year, because as we enter into June, I always start saying it's almost September. So we're already thinking about that as we begin. So on the next slide, Greg, I'd like the board to engage in a brief activity. I'd like you to recall, I know you have them memorized, the district goals that you and the administration had established. What I'd like you to do is take a few moments to think to yourself about any visible work that you have seen towards these goals and the steps the district has taken to attain those. After silently reflecting, please look around if anybody else is staring off it blankly into space, and feel free to have a discussion about what you've seen in terms of progress toward those goals. So we'll give you 3 minutes and 27 seconds.
Yes.
Is it good? No, Benita. No. Oh.
About a minute, 30 seconds left.
Well, you have to go. We need to leave that open because it's kind of fun to do that. Chris and I send memes back and forth when we're at our offices on the meetings that we're on. Like today, we were sending memes and Ellen texted both of us, stop smiling.
So that's basically a virtual.
I don't know. So probably you did that first one. I thought we just had that's a couple. Yeah. But I think you need to have a note catcher. And I don't know if there was a note catcher. But I think you gotta roll out. I have to look at them again because I haven't really, I don't even know what's on the roll.
We're gonna pull it up. Take about another 20 seconds to finish up the thought that you had.
Yeah. I had serial killer letters. She has serial killer letters. I thought they did. I said that I'm miserable, but I would put them in a place.
That's awesome.
It was like in your book. Most of my life, but I don't want to do it like.
Okay, so we'll come back together. I could ask the board who has explored topics of vision boards and goals, and I think the reason why we know this is important because it helps give focus to our district directions and the action that we have. And I know our administrators are very thankful for having that direction, and we're very happy with the opportunity to present on that tonight. Does anybody have anything they want to share out that they've seen as visible progress towards these? And we can go ahead and I'm not going to call on people to raise their hand, but we can just Bernard, go ahead.
Well, it's not really district goal, it was a board goal, so it's a little out of line, but I want to start the conversation by saying that we achieved that goal by hiring Mr. Trombley.
Thank you.
Some other ideas that Eric and I kind of jotted down, and I won't say them all so that other people can add to the conversation, was adding human resource position. Doing our zero-based budget and budget day, and that's the budget development process. We've taken some nice strides there. We passed a bond. That's exciting. So there'll be some facilities upgrades. And I'll stop so that other people can.
I'm just really happy with the new reading program. The teachers are good. I think that it aligns with the science of reading, and that makes me really happy.
We did a lot of celebrations for community, including tonight. In PD, we saw a lot of improvements in availability in PD groups, curriculum, availability. So professional development.
We established site-based teams this year, which is one of our goals, site-based teams, shared decision-making plans. Curriculum committee that was the district-wide, lots of staff, lots of opportunities for staff to have input, more input in the process of it. And parents.
Do this, the new website. Mentioning this year.
Jack, how are you not going to mention the bond?
I said we've cast, but truly, facilities did a lot of work there.
For many years.
And Jen, since she started this.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the work we did around policy, A lot of the work we've done around policy is also tied to our district.
I think Lisa is kind of her programs.
Yes, Lisa's a good, right? Yes.
Is that great grant that Lisa wanted to cover a lot of different things?
And market expanding PK.
Yeah.
Out ladies.
So after appropriate wait time, Greg will go to the next slide. But thank you for indulging me in that activity, because me standing up here presenting is one thing, because what I do at this time of year is I reach out to our administrative team and say, could you please report back to me on the district goals and your progress towards them? But what I think is more impactful is hearing what you just said. The fact that you were able to see, without being told, some of those things that our administrators, our staff, and the entire community, frankly, has worked so hard on this year. And I think June, we look forward and we also look backwards. And I think that looking backwards on the work that this district has done in a number of areas should be commended, and sets up a fantastic platform for going into the 2024-2025 school year. So at various times throughout this year, we've asked our administrative team to reflect upon that. If we click on that link, and if you see in board docs, I'm not going to bore you and read everyone to you. But if you, in board docs, we have this document here, which our administrative team has been adding to since November. So you can see specifics of the progress that's there. So the community can access that, the board can access that as well. And it is very impressive. And I know that our administrators are extremely proud of the work that they've led. I know that our faculty and staff have contributed greatly to these goals. So I'm very proud of the work that I walked into, and that I was happy to support and continue to guide through there. This is still a work in progress, though. It's June, we're not done yet, so we hope to add to that as we continue to go through here. So if we go to the next slide, Greg, we're already looking forward to 24-25. I'd like to offer a suggestion as we begin to think about goals for next year. The board did a fantastic job of identifying goals for itself, goals for the district, and also onboarding a strategic plan to help us focus our efforts. Because what I think you'll see is when you have talented individuals being given a focus on a few items, they can do wonderful and amazing things to that. So what I would recommend is we'll have our administrative retreat in mid-July. It will be prior to my understanding the board retreat. So to help give that retreat purpose and direction, where we have our administrators gathered together, what I would recommend is that we as the administrative team select 2 items or 2 an initiative from each of the pillars of the strategic plan to focus on during the 24-25 school year, and work on those action items to help us build our department level and building based goals. And we will provide continual updates throughout next year. For instance, at board meetings, we can have updates on those various pillars by whoever is tasked to lead those task forces. So that's my recommendation. And if we go to the next slide, this is an opportunity for the board to ask questions, to reflect upon last year's goals, your thoughts on the suggested approach towards next year, and just a moment for me to thank our administrators, faculty, and staff who put a lot of effort towards this year's goals. So I'll turn it over to board discussion.
It's funny, we talked about this in the exec session for like a hot second. About perhaps maybe if we had a lot of goals this year, I think that was challenging probably for our administration and us. So I think that while we accomplished a lot, I think we also felt like it was very hard for us to say we actually finished the goal, because they were so monstrous and there was a lot of them. So maybe we said look at having less is more maybe for next year. And
just when you doubt, right? And sometimes like, God, we really didn't tackle this one. You come here and you look at this list and you're like, a lot. But yeah, I mean, in my departure from the board, my reflections of the group is like, make sure that you don't spread the net so far and wide and then just go so shallow. I would definitely pick a couple of key areas that the board wants to see the district work on, and really, make a plan and nail them.
figure out the data.
I feel, maybe that's a little. I know a lot of our goals have wanted data, and I don't know if we got the feedback yet.
Yeah, they're big and there were so on. Anything else? Anybody else?
That concludes my update.
Great.
Yeah. Doing very much this evening. It's Eric's turn for policy, sorry. You're like, playing that around. It's the MC. All right, Erica, what are we on first? The first reading. Revision policy 0000, educational philosophy and the mission statement.
So this is actually tied to what we're just discussing, so to speak. I mean, it's part of our strategic plan. So we had discussed, updating our mission statement based on the strategic plan and what that was. So this is what this, I'm going to be reading to you from that, but is now officially, will be officially a policy. Okay, so this is, code 0000. The Hendrick Hudson Board of Education recognizes that to govern effectively, it must clearly define why the district exists and what it aspires to be. The board therefore adopts the following mission statement to convey the district's purpose and vision to set forth what the district should strive to become in the future. Vision: to cultivate civic-minded and responsible lifelong learners in our community. Mission: the mission of the Hendrick Hudson School District is to challenge our students and staff to reach their full potential intellectually, socially, and emotionally by developing their passion and their resilience. To wait for us to read. Anyone second me?
Second.
Favor? Okay. With the data. Did you state that this was probably related? It's from the strategic plan, but it doesn't, something, I don't know, I have to check the strategic plan. Internet is not working great here.
Good job.
I just wanted to reference the wording because that doesn't seem, the mission seems longer to me.
Greg, are you able to navigate to our website? We'll walk right click sequence. So if you're looking for the full PDF document of our strategic plan and also a primer, if you navigate to the Hendrick Hudson Central School District website.
You see it.
Yeah, so I'm going to dive the board under the Board of Education. If you go to board goals, I think it's board goals. There's our strategic plans.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. You can see it better. Sorry, Greg, I sent you in the wrong direction. You go back to that main Board of Education tab, strategic plan 2023, 2027. You scroll down to the left. There should be the strategic plan PDF right there. Then if you click on that, go to the
Third page.
Third page.
So the order is mixed up. Looks like. What order? The order in the the way the policies.
Third page, that's accurate.
Third page, yes.
See our mission and then our vision.
So I recommended that
Okay.
in the organization, just because in concept, the vision would be what we strive to be. What we hope to achieve as a school district. The mission is the daily objective we have. So that's definitely something that we could switch back to have the mission first and the vision. Or its purview, of course.
So. I mean, I think this is good. And this was developed by our strategic plan. This came from our strategic plan. The initial steering committee group came up with this and it was put into the strategic plan. It's definitely not as in depth as what we had.
I think it gets right to the point of what it is that we value in the district and what we want to do, so. I know it's less than what we had before, but it seems to target exactly what it is that we want our district to be.
This is a collective group, so.
Yeah, and this is, yeah. Everybody.
So at the time, you guys were on the board. You two were on the board at the time. What input did you have into this when you were on the board?
None.
Was it ever brought to the table as a discussion for you to have a conversation about?
It was brought to the table. It wasn't, we weren't asked for it. I'm not opposed to it. I mean, it simplifies. It's just weird because our old vision had so much in it. This is a lot less, but I'm not opposed.
The only thing, I wish that the values were more, built more words, well, just more built upon.
Yeah.
So that it gave some direction. I'm sure that there was a lot of that went back and forth to pick those 5 values. And we have our 4 pillars that came from that, but that was actually a totally separate phase of this. So this was like phase 1, and then there was phase 2, which was different groups that built that.
Where do you find this on the website?
It's under strategic planner board. Now on the left-hand side, go down.
Do we have to do anything? Can we think about that? Yeah, like tonight?
I mean, this is the first reading.
Yeah, but if we want to change it, we can change it next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have 2 questions.
I think we should have input. That's what I'm saying. I think we should.
So I have two small, very small. In the first sentence after effectively, should it be we
Where?
recognize that to govern effectively? We must clearly define, or it. It is the board, but we are also.
But
It's the district.
I would ask the board to consider that the board has its power when it acts as a board.
So that's an it.
It's an.
And then my last piece would to be, same sentence, would to become more appropriate there.
Define why the district exists and what it aspires to be.
Or to become. I'm asking, I'm not suggesting. I don't know. If it's, can you end a sentence? May I speak?
Yeah, you can, for sure. I don't why.
Yeah, becomes. I mean, I think becomes sounds better, but
Be though is present, becomes is future.
but that's what we aspire to become, right? So it's that future.
We should also be, I'm just,
B is like, but saying it's present.
yeah.
I don't know. Are we saying who we are and what we want to become? Is that what we're saying? That's, or the question we're asking was, I don't know.
What it aspires sounds like future.
But who are we now? Where do we want to go?
Future.
I think we should just think about this and think about you can keep the theme, you can keep the guts, but maybe it needs to be written better. This is like. Right?
The vision, the mission and the values are what they are unless we decide as a board to change.
Yeah.
Saying the first sentence.
This,
I actually really like the vision a lot.
I do too. That's all I have, short and sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if I like, it must go a time of the district. Why did you?
No, I think district is what it aspires to produce.
We can work on the.
Yeah,
So
that's
what-
maybe.
Well, we have
We have one coming up next.
we have a policy meeting next week. I want to also look at the NISBA recommendations for these policies to see what they recommend. I think this came directly from NISBA. So we'll talk about it. We'll bring another recommendation for that first paragraph. To our next Board of Ed meeting. How's that sound like a plan?
This is reviewed annually.
Not necessarily. mean, we can, it says we can,
Well, that's what this is
Yeah.
saying, right?
yes, but we
Yeah,
haven't,
the board-
we haven't been.
Will review, right? And that's at the beginning of every school year, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we were gonna put, this is gonna be part of our shared decision-making plan. It's gonna be a part of that, and then it will be all over, it'll be on all of our, it'll be updated on the website. We'd have to come up with a way to make sure that it is annually developed. Or at least reviewed annually.
Yeah, no, I like that.
We can also change this to say that when we do our next strategic plan in 2027, that it's reviewed then.
See what Mrs. recommendations.
I don't think this will recommend that. I'm talking about the first paragraph. It's when we review the vision statement. We want to do that annually. As we, because typically the board would work on this, or strategic plan. So we have to figure out what we would like to do as a board when it comes to that. Whether it be tied to our annual goals, we can change the vision statement.
For the last paragraph, annual review, it says that it will do it annually.
I know, but that might not be what's best. I mean, what process would we put in place to have that annually developed and checked? We'd have to figure that out.
So for perspective of something to think about, that clause does not lock the board into a particular format of doing it, but it can be done informally or formally, and then review the board at the time. I think it does provide in policy and codified in policy, it does provide the direction, and it demonstrates the board will review its guiding statements on a yearly basis to be flexible and adaptive if need be.
Because as of right now, this was developed in 2021. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right, the next one is the first read, no,
Where we interpret.
nothing, it's just first reading.
This is first reading?
We engage in discussions, so we're good.
Yes, we engage in discussion, we're good. We'll meet the policy team and we'll bring back based on discussion.
The next one is the first reading revision policy 2120 annual district election.
So this is a realignment. So NISBA had recommended that we use their numbering tool. Oh, so the wording of the policy did not change. But it's first reading revision of policy 2120, annual district election and budget vote. But when we finalize it, it will be 1,000 community relations, 1050 budget, 1050.
Okay.
Policy
And
1050.
nothing else changed in it?
Nothing else changed in it as required policy. I'll begin to read it, so. Policy.
Motion to waive the reading?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Okay, it's the first reading, so we'll bring that back at the next meeting. Anything else that we need to know about them?
No, just as we go along, did recommend that when we change one number to another number, that we bring it to the board to.
Yeah.
You can't approve this one tonight, it's just a number change, nothing else that needs to be treated.
We're allowed to?
Motion to approve policy 1050.
Your motion to, we have to waive the.
Waive the second reading of policy 1050.
Second.
All in favor?
Don't you have to then retire the other? Did we bring it?
No.
We're just changing the number.
Changing the number, you're not.
That's, we're not retiring policy, we're just making a number change. Motion to approve policy 1050.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so that was done. Okay, the next one is first reading revision policy 1120, school district records.
So this is code, title school district records, code 1120. It is the policy of the Board of
Motion
Education
to waive the
to
reading
inform.
of policy 1120.
Second.
All in favor? Is this the same thing?
This one is a required policy. We're bringing up the language to be current. So current law.
It's been 22 years.
Agree, yes.
So just, as a point of reference, this is because we support from NISBA to help us update our policies to make sure that they're all current and legal and representative of that New York State policy.
Yep.
So money well spent.
All right, so we'll be bringing that one back at the next meeting. The next is the first reading of policy, oh wait,
This is an exhibit
that's the exhibit.
associated with policy 1120.
So do you have to read that?
And do it.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you have to read it.
School district records, exhibit application for public access to records, code 1120-E.1, application for public access to records. To make a request, public records via email to the records access officer, Carmen Koch at carmen.koch@hennettschools.org, or copy and paste the text below.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes in it?
Nothing has changed. This is up to date, and we will make sure that the directions on the website, once we approve this, they're identical.
Okay.
Right? That was what we had.
All right,
But this brings us up to legal, exactly what it needs to be legally.
the next is the first reading of policy 1120-R, district records regulations.
Title School District Records Regulations 1120-R. The following complies with rules and regulations of 1120-R.
Second.
All in favor?
This is just this is the regulation for 1120. So we have 1120, then you have the rules, yeah, and then you have the regulation. Okay.
For the board's edification, number of policies you adopt, as you read them, you'll see that once the policy is adopted, it requires the superintendent to develop regulation. There are some regulations that do come with, there are some policies that come with required regulations. And there are some policies that come with optional regulations you may wish to adopt at NISBA's suggestion.
So these are new, we've never had.
We have had these.
It just says first reading.
We didn't have the exhibit or the regulation.
They weren't part
new.
They weren't officially part of or attached to the policy.
Some of them like we have, but we don't necessarily post months. A lot of things have regulations, but we don't necessarily have to get them approved.
We should be.
We should be, yeah, but some of them weren't.
Depending.
It's written before.
Yeah, if it's written into the policy, we should have them. That's what we're doing that.
Yeah.
Required, yes.
The last one is the first reading of revision policy 2014. Okay, 2410, policy development, adoption, implementation, and zero.
This is
I know.
this is the third one this is the third time we're bringing this one up, so.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, I'll explain why in a minute. So, title policy development, adoption, implementation, and review, code 2410. The Board of Education is responsible.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, so. This was, we approved this on November 1st, but we didn't, at the time, I don't think we had a good, I talked with this last board, but we didn't have a clear understanding of how long this process would take. And I wanted to make sure, and the policy committee wants to make sure, we spoke to Mr. Trombley and Ms. Koch about how we can make sure that what has happened here in the last 10 years doesn't happen again. So in order to do that, you have to put that into the policy that basically outlines how often you will be reviewing your policy.
So change here now, you said 2 series.
Yeah, so every academic year, once we're completed with this process, every academic year, the board will review 2 series of policy. Policy committee. The policy committee, along with the superintendent, the clerk, and then bring them to what needs to, anything that, you won't be seeing every single policy again at that point. You're only going to be seeing the policies that may have to be adjusted and changed, but they're going to review them. I say they, because it might not be any of us, right? So that's why we have to make sure that we're setting this up. We're not all this time we're spending is gonna be.
Yes.
Can you just do one thing? Tell me what people playing along at home, what are 2 series?
So we have 9 series in our policy book,
Thank you.
and I think there's 9.
Yeah.
And if you look at if you look in our policy manual online, they are educational philosophy, community relations, school board governance and operations, administration goals, instructional goals, student policy goals, fiscal management, facilities development, support services, and personnel. So there's 10. We have currently gotten through just this year, upon all the other policy we have created, we've gone through educational philosophy, community relations, and we're just starting into the 2000 series. So this process that we're in right now will take time. I mean, they had said it would take about 2 years. I anticipate it's gonna take longer, but it isn't the work of the board or the work of or Carmen. It's just taking, NYSBA has to go through every single policy and then send a recommendation to us.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next board meeting will have a lot of these coming back.
You're gonna have these coming back and you're likely going to see a whole new slew of 2000.
Yeah, then we're meeting.
Yes, and we also have to decide as a board if we want to continue this over the summer or pause it until we have our meetings over the summer, if we continue with policy or if we pause them until September.
So for this one that we just read, can we waive the second reading? I mean, all we're doing is giving guidance. If you want to waive the second reading.
I'm fine waiving the second reading.
So that way you can
Move forward.
move forward.
Sure, I'll make a motion to waive the second reading of 2410.
Second.
All in favor?
Now you have to approve it. I'd like to make a motion to approve policy 2410.
Second.
All in favor?
You guys are gonna miss me. I'm not even on the policy.
I think some other members were.
We like numbers.
Dabbling in over the summer.
No.
We're
the numbers. We're the numbers people.
You're the numbers person.
I like policy.
That's true. You are the numbers.
Yeah.
I do it all day.
And you're,
I do it all day.
I got my own.
I like my name.
all right, this is save it for the summer, guys. Next section is committee reports. Anyone have anything they want to share?
I have a non-committee related.
That would be under board comments and new business. Please hold, Mr. Basso.
Certainly.
She's getting feisty. Any committee reports? Okay. Floors. Yeah, that's fine. 7 to 12 board comments and new business.
I was in contact with, Town Equipment Supervisor, Dr. Becker today. He indicated that beginning July 8th, construction should start on the cell tower, that's gonna go in to support the Cortland Manor area, specifically the Furnace Woods and Blue Mountain buildings for cell service. The construction starts, they're expecting by July 8th. And once that's done, they're gonna have to break in, power and get the cell towers wired. And they're hoping that by the end of the year, it'll be operational.
Yeah.
It's a big giant.
Awesome. Thank you.
And a benefit to the people who live.
I was gonna say, and I heard you by phone at my house.
Any other new business or board comments?
Next year.
Okay, well, sadly, we can't close the meeting. We're going to be going back to executive session because we did not finish before our public session. So I
Motion.
Yeah.
Back to executive session.
have a second. All in favor?